Hello my good smiling friends, and welcome to another honest video. This time is something that you guys have probably waited so long to see another one of these videos on my channel. I know it's been a while and I hope you will enjoy this one because I haven't done it in a long time and I'm pretty excited to do one. But before I start, I want to let you know that this is not going to be a fragrance clone video, and as long as I cannot confirm that they were inspired from, I will just present them as more affordable alternatives to more expensive fragrances. Either way guys, if you like the more expensive fragrance that I'm going to compare these with, I'm pretty sure that you're going to like these as well. They are similar. Also, these fragrances, not all of them are inexpensive. Okay, let's start with one that it's on the less expensive side. And it's one of the Middle Eastern fragrances, one that I got you used to. And you probably love this house. It's Swiss Arabian. The house, the fragrance is Mutamayez. Guys, first let me describe the fragrance. This is similar to M7, the original, the legendary M7 by YSL, also the long discontinued M7. To my nose, the original M7 had this candy oud combination, a weird one but likable one, and also a different version of what you're getting now in the oud based fragrances. I think that's what made it that special. This has the same thing, only that the oud in this fragrance in Mutamayez is sharp, and it also has a bit of a medicinal sweetness, Mutamayez, which gets me thinking of another niche fragrance. It has that sugary medicinal effect that Baccarat Rouge 540 has. So if M7 alone wasn't enough to get your attention regarding this fragrance, if you like Baccarat Rouge, you might also find that effect that I find in this fragrance. Performance is also great on this. It's a 10 hours plus longevity fragrance with a very good 2 hours projection. I cannot talk about the current version, the current batches, because also Mutamayez was discontinued at some point. It's back online and I haven't got one of the newer batches, so I cannot tell how the newer releases are going to perform compared to my version, which doesn't have the production year written on the bottom. In case you have problems with your performance on your recently purchased Mutamayez, let me know. Okay, moving on to the next fragrance, we have Bob Egypt. So this is a Scentbird sample, or not exactly sample. This is how they're selling their products. It's subscription based. I'm not going to talk about Scentbird. This is not the point of the video. The point is that Bob Egypt can be easily replaced, in my opinion, with, first I'm going to say Chanel Allure Homme, but that's also a fragrance which is not that inexpensive, but the quality is kind of on the same level. But the more inexpensive version of Chanel Allure Homme is Perry Ellis M, which also has a good quality. It's not bad quality at all. The performance is at least equally good as Bob's Egypt, if not even better. So the common smell in all these three is a citrusy spiced lavender, a warm scent which has either the sweetness of the cinnamon in this one, the sweetness of vanilla and tonka bean in the other two, but the scent is quite similar. It's a warm, spicy, masculine scent. The fragrance gets more creamy as it dries down, where the woods are coming in, where the nutmeg is coming in. But overall, this is a spicy, masculine scent with a mature vibe to it. I don't think, to be honest, that the title Egypt matches the scent here. So guys, instead of 8 and Bob Egypt, I just recommend you should try Chanel Allure or even a more inexpensive version, which is Perry Ellis M. Now everyone, I did say that not all of these fragrances are going to be inexpensive. That's why I'm going to show you a fragrance which costs over $100, £100 or euros, and it's one from the house of Creed. Okay, so if you're not aware, you're probably wondering what? A Creed is similar to even a more expensive fragrance? Yes, this was pointed out to me in a video made by Jay Copeland. So thank you very much, Jay, for revealing this information to me, because the fragrance that this smells like, it's Clive Christian's 1872. Now Clive Christian 1872 has a similarity between the male and the female version. I just tried the male version a couple of years ago. I loved it, but it was way too expensive back then. 30 ml of that fragrance is even more expensive than 100 or even 120 ml of Creed Royal Water. So in this case, this makes the Creed an affordable fragrance. Both of the fragrances smell really high class, but not today's high class, but more of the high class back when Louis was king of France. The difference between the two is that Clive Christian 1872 is more loaded. It has a lot more notes. It's more fruity and more green. This is more watery, as the title says. This is like a simpler version, but still very complex. It is still a Creed fragrance and it still has that Creed quality. Also, the performance on 1872 is slightly better. Okay, let's move on to the next fragrance, which is going to be the the fourth fragrance is Rihanna Rogue Man. Now, this is going to be an alternative to Dolce & Gabbana The One, not the Eau de Parfum version, just the regular Eau de Toilette. I'm saying that because the performance of the One Eau de Toilette is as average or below average as the one from Rogue Man. I think Rogue Man has an even better performance, but for the price, this is much cheaper. Now, what do they have in common? They are again warm spicy fragrances with citruses on top, which become creamier and warmer as they dry down because the sandalwood comes in, the amber comes in. But the One also has tobacco, which Rogue Man is lacking. This is the main difference in the fragrances, which is not a very prominent difference. Patchouli kind of compensates with the lack of tobacco in this fragrance, patchouli giving it a bit and a slight powdery effect. I would also like to add that Rogue Man is slightly more mature, but it also has that sexy aspect that the One has. Now let's talk about a more expensive fragrance, but not as expensive as the Creed one, because this is going to come from the house of Mancera, and this is a very popular one, maybe even popular than Creed Royal Water, Mancera Cedrat Boise. This is no surprise in this list. I'm sure all of you by now probably know it. This is similar to Creed Aventus, but it has its own character. I mean, at the time this was released, there were not so many clones of Creed Aventus, and that's why this being similar was considered like a clone. But now this has its own character. Instead of pineapple, it has the sweetness of vanilla. It is also fruity, but it's not the pineapple here. It's more woodsy because it's cedar in here, and the cedar is the main aspect of the fragrance. Some people prefer Cedrat Boise over Creed Aventus, and I understand why. This also can have better performance, and it's definitely much more affordable. Okay, so the last fragrance I want to show you is an alternative to Guerlain's Heritage, which is not very expensive. It can go up to around 60-70 pounds, but the fragrance I'm gonna show you is going to be like 3 times less expensive. This you can pick up for even 15 pounds at some times. I'm talking about Zino by Davidoff. This is a masterpiece, still a great performer, a great classic with a great price still. Zino as Heritage by Guerlain spin around that prominent note of lavender, which in this fragrance doesn't only give the fragrance that manly freshness, but also this is a dark lavender. It has lots of woods around it, and in the background lots and lots of florals. I think that in terms of smell, of brand, of class, maybe Guerlain has a slight advantage, but this Zino by Davidoff is no joke. I mean, this is a masterpiece still. So if you ever think that purchasing Zino instead of Heritage is a downgrade, I wouldn't consider it that way. I think it would be the smarter choice here. Heritage, I think it's more for the collectors. For day-to-day use, this is a perfect replacement in my opinion. And that was it, guys. I hope you enjoyed watching this video, because I know you like this kind of videos. Let me know in a comment below if you think these fragrances I've shown you are good alternatives for the more expensive fragrances that they were similar to. But until the next video, guys, you keep smelling great.